Aloha. Hi, Stephanie. How are you? Your thing seems to be the only one here right now. And you are muted and don't have your camera on. So I'm going to, let's see, Heather is here. We're going to let Heather in the room. Aloha, Heather and Stephanie. Now we've got two people in our very first live forum on nonprofit fundraising here in the group. How are you guys? Well, I'll say hi to you. I haven't seen you in 24 hours. How are you, Stephanie?
I am well. I'm kind of a mess right now, but I'll get there. I'm doing the final things for our fundraiser tomorrow.
What is your fundraiser tomorrow?
We have a dinner and silent auction at Tante's in the Maulaya Harbor Shops.
Oh, Tante's.
Yep.
From
5 to 9.
I think I saw that on Facebook or something like that.
Probably. I've been pumping it out there.
All right. So if you are on Maui, and this is going to probably more for the replay because Heather Yvonne's in here, but she's in Arizona. If you're on Maui and you want to eat some good grinds, ono grinds, as we say here in Hawaii,
Yeah.
then go to Tante's, not the one in Kahului, right? But the one in Maulaya Harbor.
Correct.
And they have good pork bellies there, by the way. I really enjoy their pork bellies.
And I've got a plethora of auction items. They're pretty cheap.
Pretty good stuff. All right. I hope I can make it down there tomorrow. I got a couple of things work-wise going on, but in any event, if I don't make it tomorrow, I do want to come down and see you. I love seeing the nonprofits that are in the town, and I love that are in my town, and I love traveling to see and visit other nonprofits. It's
a good excuse to get out and do something.
You're absolutely right. You're right. Get off my volcano. Heather Yvonne is here. I can introduce everybody that's in the group so far. This is the very first one we've done. So I'm going to take a quick announcement for the folks that are watching us on the replay. This is our very first live forum. And pardon me, I had a bug crawling on my computer. This is our very first live forum in the new nonprofit campaigns community. Both of you, I was going to do a slideshow presentation, and both of you have probably seen it. So I'm going to whip right through it. But I am going to go through it just a little bit for the people on the replay. And Heather, you are in Arizona, right? Tucson, thank you. And Heather is multitasking and talking to somebody.
Yeah, my husband.
So while you're talking to your husband, I'll introduce Stephanie. Stephanie here is from the ARC of Maui, ARC of Maui, and they and let me see if I got your elevator pitch right. You serve developmentally and physically, I guess, disabled people here on Maui. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Heather
and developmental disabilities. Those are items that happen from birth to the age of maturity. We provide in-house, in the community, jobs, you name it, we're there for them.
Awesome stuff. And you are a member are just a newly graduated member of our masterclass that we did yesterday.
I just jumped right on there today. I'm like, you know what? I cannot miss this.
That's right. We're going to do this every week for the rest of our lives.
It works. It works. You know, sometimes the joy and laughter of just coming and meeting people who are on that same playing field make my life a little bit easier. Keeps it in perspective.
Yep. We're all suffering the same pains, going through the same things. Heather Yvonne is also a masterclass alumni that is to your right, or at least on my screen, to your right, Stephanie. And Heather is she is starting a street newspaper, which is a thing. I didn't know this until our masterclass, but it is a thing. And it is a street newspaper that is run by the homeless community for everybody else in the community, but it's run by the homeless.
Nice.
Yep.
And how is your project going these days, Heather?
We're starting to get things going. I'm actually working with the University of Arizona.
Very good.
Students that are trying to get things moving.
Yep. And that is exciting. I know you're looking forward to being in the background a little bit and letting those other people kind of lead and take charge and do some stuff to help.
We done a few things, because a lot of the street newspapers are using the younger generation to do a lot of the major work.
Yeah, because the younger
And then the
generation
older
knows how to do a lot of that
generation
stuff that
sits
we
in
don't
the
know.
office and does what they have to do.
And I'm responsible for something.
Yep.
Well, street newspapers are about the community, and in order to get the stuff that we need for the newspaper, the young people are more apt to go out there and engage that community in order to get what we actually need.
Yeah, they have, most of the time, they haven't developed a fear for the people that are out there, the naysayers of the world.
Well, isn't that something? Because I was just, I'm very focused on personal development. And right before this, I always listen to something before I do go live to kind of motivate myself. And I was listening to Tony Robbins. And they were talking about those paradigms that we all, in fact, I'm writing an article right now for Nonprofit Pro magazine that talks, and we're going to be talking about those paradigms that we all learn as children, that we shouldn't, we don't want to ask somebody how much money they make, and we shouldn't ever ask somebody for money, right? And what are those, what are these paradigms that we learn as children that our parents, meaning well, instill? Money doesn't grow on trees, and all that stuff that and now we've got these paradigms rolling in our head that block us from going out and asking donors for big, large gifts and feeling good about being the person that's doing that ask. And so part of our, I never knew as a nonprofit coach that I would be talking and coaching people on paradigms. I thought I'd be teaching you guys how to create campaigns, but this is kind of what we do. We do a little coaching. We do a little bit of everything here at Nonprofit Campaigns to try to help nonprofit leaders succeed. Since it is, and like I said, we've only got 3 people today in our live forum. However, we got to start somewhere. We launched this thing 1 week ago in the new Nonprofit Campaigns community. The reason, Heather and Stephanie, I did this is, you guys know I'm trying to create a cool community. I've been doing it for about 1.5 years on Facebook, and we got it up to almost 800 members on Facebook. And every month in the Facebook group, not on our Facebook page, we got one of those things too, right? Every month I'm watching the algorithm go, well, let me rephrase that. I'm watching the number of members that join our group on LinkedIn and on Facebook, and the numbers go up every month and the engagement goes down. And nothing personal, Zuck. I know you got to make a buck, and you're driving people to go to make money and click on ads. Our mission in life is to help motivate nonprofit leaders to succeed, and therefore we got to do what we got to do. And so there we go. We're going to launch our new Nonprofit Campaigns community here in something called Mighty Networks. I learned about Mighty Networks from a friend of mine, Pastor Amos, in the Church for Entrepreneurs. I've been following him for about 1 year now, and it's a great thing for any nonprofit leader and founder. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to benefit from that. So I'm going to read what, now you guys have seen most of these slides, but I'm going to do this for the people that are going to be watching in the replay. So multitask there and jump in and ask questions whenever you can. I'm going to, first of all, set up the slideshow. And let's see, we want to go from from the beginning. I'm going to come back and whoopsie, I got to come back. I already messed up. Look at that. All right. That's why we use young people, right, kids? That's what you were saying, Yvonne, because us old guys screw up sometimes doing this stuff. All right. So here is the PowerPoint deck. We've hit share. Can you see it?
Yes.
Now we do.
Now you can. All right. Very good. So we're going to start from this very first. Now, if somebody else joins and wants to join the room here, somebody tell me. Because I'm just going to roll through this thing very quick. And I want to thank you, Stephanie and Heather and others that are watching this on the replay for joining our brand new Nonprofit Campaigns community. And as you both know, we run a little program called the Fundraising University at Nonprofit Campaigns, otherwise known as FUNC. And you know, we were promoting the FUNC acronym there for a while, and it just didn't take off. So, but in the event, this is where the Fundraising University Nonprofit Campaigns is going to continue. And today's goal is we're going to introduce our new members. We've already got that done for those of you in the room. New people that joined, we're going to get a chance to interview you later. In a little bit, we're going to talk about nonprofit ethics. And I'm going to share an article. I think I sent that article to you, Stephanie, didn't I, yesterday? And so I don't know if you, hopefully you had a chance to read that, but I've got it also in here. And then we're going to do some Q&A here. Stephanie, you saw this yesterday. It is the hair challenge. I am okay, so in the 70s when this photo was taken, they didn't have a thing that I was aware of called hair gel. So now it's a little tamer, but somebody told me, they go, man, you were kind of cute when you were a kid. I remember, you know, a gal I dated, back in the day, she goes, should let your hair grow long again. Well, guess what? It's not brown anymore.
And now it's seasoned.
But it is the hair challenge nonetheless. So I am going to let this thing grow a little bit longer here and see how much long gray hair I can get. All of you know that we have a nonprofit campaigns community on Facebook, and we're going to keep that nonprofit campaigns community, but my motivation is to be posting here in the new nonprofit campaigns community. So you're going to see less and less going on in our old group, but you know what, people join that old group all the time. It's a great way to find new leads and new people, and we're just referring everybody and saying, come on over here and join the new group. There is the team, both Heather and Stephanie. I think you've heard from just about everybody on this team, except for maybe my son Mark and my ex-wife Danya there. But yet, that's right. My ex-wife Danya and I fundraised through 20 years of our marriage for different nonprofits. I don't know that it helped the marriage any, but she is an excellent nonprofit fundraiser. I'm divorced now, and so she's a part of our team. And she got her master's in philanthropy and fundraising from Bay Path College. And she always says the stuff we teach here in nonprofit campaigns, they just don't teach in universities these days. And they never have. Someday I think she needs to be the one to go out and teach that now. And that is me, Rob Webb. And you can go to our website at nonprofitcampaigns.com and click the About Us tab, and you can learn all about me. Basically, I started in nonprofit fundraising 41 years ago as the aquatic director in the YMCA of Greater Long Beach. And I am a waterman, all aquatic type guy, kind of why I love being in Long Beach, the aquatic capital of America, and Maui, where we just love the ocean here and hang out. They told me I had to do fundraising back then, and I didn't want to. And 41 years later, I'm here. Linda Lysakowski is unable to join us today. She, as you know, Stephanie, she went traveling about a week ago because she has two of her sons are in the hospital, and one has had a leg amputated and having problem. And we're praying, by the way. So I'm asking all you guys to pray for Linda, please, and her children. And while, of course, when she was traveling, she got COVID.
Oh no.
Yeah. She's been home now. She wasn't hospitalized. She was on the hurt locker there for a few days, she said, and now she is just exhausted. And so she's getting some rest, but we will bring Linda Lysakowski. The two of us have almost 100 years of nonprofit fundraising experience between us. And she is an advanced certified fundraising executive. That's something, Stephanie, Heather, I'm going to encourage you guys to keep getting those, log in those online training credits. We're going to be offering credits, by the way, for what we do in the new nonprofit campaigns community. And that's something I've got to go through an application process with CFRE International and write them a check for $600, and then we'll have that stuff all taken care of. But she has, and the other thing I'm going to be doing in the community is we are updating all of Linda Lysakowski's training courses. I believe there's 13 of them, and we're going to have them available for you guys to purchase. in the community here. And so as I get this new website and this new group all set up, that's something that's on my to-do list. Linda and I are also launching a new annual support campaign on steroids playbook that and both you guys know what our annual support campaign is. I'm really encouraging both of you guys. Stephanie, I want to get you those board members. We're going to do that brainstorming. We're going to create that annual campaign where we get those volunteers out in the community telling your story about your nonprofit and asking others to join us. So that's exciting. We're also working on a new training program for board members, because we can educate all the nonprofit leaders out there, but if the board members don't have their education, it just doesn't.
I added my 2 board members to it, and when I get the new ones from the college as board members, they're going to be invited.
Now, did you get a chance? Did you set up and customize that job description, board member job description I sent out to both of you guys?
Yeah, but no one wanted to do it, and a couple people that wanted to do it said, well, sounds like you ain't got everything ready.
Well, and I tell you,
that's the board to get everything ready.
Yep, and that's the frustration as a founder. I know founders, it's a little frustrating to get that first few things off the ground. We heard about that. Now, Stephanie, you've got a board of directors that's been around for a while, and I know you have an executive director that you need to kind of feed that stuff through. Have you been able to do that?
I have attempted it a couple times and kind of got that pushback, but that doesn't mean that I'm done.
Well, hang in there, and because the board members need to have a job description, but once they're already there, it's hard to spring it on them and say, this is what we're going to do now, and have them throw fruit at you, right? So,
and as you know, or I'm assuming now it is pretty much about who you know.
I can barely hear you. If you could bring the mic a little closer.
Stop fidgeting. Maui is about who you know.
Yep.
So, our board members tend to be there for a really long time, and then their families step into that position when those people are gone.
Well, let's get them through that brainstorming exercise in there. And as I said, half of that board meeting should be focused on how do we grow, how do we get, and how do we increase our fundraising efforts. Anyhow, the slide that's in front of me right now is my Ron Burgundy slide, and my son loves this one, and so I always put it in because he makes fun of me, because when we started this thing, I was reading off a teleprompter, and I actually I pulled a Ron Burgundy and read stuff that I shouldn't have, that they had accidentally put on the teleprompter. I don't use teleprompters anymore. I just try to go off the cuff now. 2 years later, I'm almost starting to get good at this stuff now. All right, so you guys know this, but for those watching the replay, we created nonprofit campaigns during this pandemic for the 20 some odd years before that. Since 1995, I have been RM Webb and Associates consulting, and I was the Lone Ranger, and I must have been an expert because I was 50 miles away from my home with a briefcase, and I would parachute in and help nonprofit professionals. And now actually, I even have nonprofits in my hometown that come to me. Poor Jesus couldn't do any miracles in his hometown because they didn't have faith and believe, but we're starting to get there. So during the pandemic, we all looked around and said, I can't parachute in anymore and be in front of you guys live in the board meetings. So we decided to create exceptional online training courses at an affordable cost, and connect you guys, those nonprofit professionals all over the United States, with a community like this that we've just created, where you can ask questions and seek support. And of course, we provide awesome consulting services, from capital campaigns to creating that annual campaign on steroids, to create major gifts and planned giving campaigns, and all that other fun stuff. Linda and I I'm looking forward to traveling again, actually, and getting out in front of the board and doing it the old fashioned way. I'm zoomed out. We talked a little bit earlier about CFRE, and I encourage all of our members to get their certified fundraising executive certificate. I got mine in 2000 and then promptly let it expire about 15 years later because I was, like all excited doing, I'm a serial entrepreneur and like to start new businesses. And so, but we want to get you guys credit for all the training courses you take with CFRE. This was the very first course that we created, which was called Intro to High Impact Campaigns, a guide to prepare for success. And this is now no longer available as of like 2 weeks ago on our website. We're going to relaunch this brand new, the new relaunch course is going to be your annual giving appeal, volunteer-led staff managed fundraising campaign on steroids. I got to come up with a shorter name than that, but that's kind of what it's going to be. And as you all know, our goal is to create high impact fundraising campaigns. And of course, the definition of high impact is able to influence someone or something in a powerful way and an organized course of action to achieve a particular goal. I believe almost all nonprofit activities are best executed when functioning like a campaign with specific goals and measurable results. About the only thing I can't find how to turn into a campaign is grant writing. It's just its own little animal off to the side over there. Everything else, planned giving campaigns, direct mail campaigns, email campaigns, social media campaigns, capital campaigns. That's the best way to get it done. And both of you know the 80-20 rule of fundraising. Who wants to jump in for those who are watching the replay? 80% of your, well, there's two of them, right? Actually, we got rule number one, 80% of your funds will come from 20% of your donors. And it may, more and more as we see the great wealth that's out there and some of these big donations, it might be more than like 85 or 90% of your funds will come from 20% of your donors. And unfortunately, the other 80-20 rule is that most nonprofits focus 80% of their effort on where 20% of their funding should come from. And that brings us to our pie chart. This pie chart was created in 2016. At that time, nonprofits, total giving in the United States to nonprofits was $335.17 billion with a B dollars.
I'm gonna have to send you the new pie that they have.
I need to update my pie. My pie is getting old, and I need to get a graphic.
It's a little different now.
Yeah, I need to get well, it's pretty similar as far as the percentages. In 2020, it went up to 471.44 billion. And if you take the red, 72% of individuals, I don't like the way Giving USA accounts for this, right? Because bequests and planned giving over here, that 8% should be part of that red 72%, because bequests and planned gifts come from individuals. Yesterday in the Not Net Masterclass, we talked about planned giving until everybody was blue and tired of listening to me talk. And that's the fastest growing vehicle right now of nonprofit donations in the United States from individuals. So if you take that, that's 80%. We know that during the pandemic, foundation giving went up a little bit and corporate giving went down. And the question I have is, what is foundation giving going to do in 2022 and 2023 as we're going in? We kind of have a bear market right now. The foundations are giving their money away from earnings from assets that they have, and if they don't make earnings, they are not giving away as much money. And
they're actually starting to hand out their own campaigns for the nonprofits. That's where it's changed because of the COVID, to start giving out money to the nonprofits that they care about.
Yep. Well, and some,
I've been seeing that on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I mean, foundations are out there pushing their campaigns to give out money to the nonprofits.
That's interesting. So rather than just use their earnings, they're also raising money and therefore competing with the nonprofits out there that are raising bucks. Interesting scenario at which that may develop as the bear market continues. Hey, how about that? I just froze. We're going to hit a couple of buttons here. Don't you love it when technology stops working on you? I'm just going to take a moment here for you guys. Chime in. Anybody have a good joke? Give me a second here. We're going to find out why this thing froze. And we're going to go from current slide. So I got a slide down here. Let's see here. What slide were we on? We were on 80-20, 80-20 pie chart.
Yeah, pie chart.
All right. And from current slide now, whoopsie, I got to go back. Come back into Zoom, hit screen share again. And we're off and running here. So I'm going to roll right through this a little bit, and then we can get to the fun part of this stuff where we're going to talk. All right, can you see our current slide? All right, this is the pyramid of giving, kids. And bottom is your annual giving stuff, and it's online giving, and which could be email campaigns or social media campaigns. Direct mail is still not dead. There are a lot of donors that like to see direct mail. A lot more expensive though than operating email campaigns and social media campaigns, but definitely direct mail is important. I don't know if I told you guys, I got a direct mail piece from the Jehovah's Witness the other day in Pigeon. And and I laughed and I posted it on my Facebook page, and everybody says, they're a little smarter than you think. They got you to post it on your Facebook page and promote it all over the place. I love to open mail and see that stuff. And I'm always looking at who the donors are and I'm making sure they're doing things pono, as we say here in Hawaii, the right way. Of course, the top of the lower red part of that pyramid is our high impact annual campaign on steroids. Stay tuned, kids, for the playbook coming out soon. As we get into the middle, of course, we get into our major gift campaigns and capital campaigns and endowment campaigns. We're now taking these annual donors, and we've developed the secret to all fundraising: develop relationships. And we've developed relationships with these people, and we're moving them up this pyramid of giving. And of course, at the end of the day, we want all of them to make a state gift and leave a legacy to your nonprofit, because hopefully you're going to be the nonprofit they love the most, because we've worked hard at that over the years, right? Now, big question, why do we have a campaign? Because I told you that almost all fundraising tasks are best structured when organized as a campaign with specific goals and measurable results. Most of the nonprofits that you know of and you think of are successful are either in the middle of or planning for or wrapping up some kind of a campaign. And we believe that all of your campaigns should be led by trained volunteers and managed by your professional staff. And conducting a good campaign is not only about the money. Money is cool. I got to tell you, we can't pay the rent without money, but it also fosters a sense of ownership in your organization's mission and goals for all your volunteers, board members, and encourages everyone to adopt the practices and and that culture of philanthropy and giving your time, talent, and treasure to others. It provides support and opportunities to discover and develop leadership skills amongst your board members and volunteers and program participants, and gives an opportunity for volunteers to staff to increase their circle of friends. We want to make campaigns fun. I'm here to bring the fun back in fundraising. If we're not having fun, kids, we're doing something wrong. And of course, we want to, it introduces your organization to the wider community, builds goodwill and develops valuable relationship, and of course, secures support from individuals, corporations, and communities. Your campaign will help your nonprofit achieve its basic mission, and it's important that all the staff embrace these values and the culture of philanthropy. And they don't just, successful campaigns don't just happen. Takes a little effort and a little planning, and we're here to help you do that. All right. Both of you have taken part in the nonprofit campaign's 30-day challenge, where and I'm going to send this out to all the people that in the group so they can watch it and catch up where we're at. This is and we encourage you all to listen for 30 days and regular. I still listen to it. I've listened to it hundreds of times, and it still motivates and helps me. Sorry, that's my neighbor just lighting up his Corvette there, if you can hear that in the background. This is based on, it's about a 20-minute recording that was on an old 33 1/3 album that some of the young people don't know what albums are, but young people like you and Heather, Stephanie, but it is recorded in 1962 by the godfather of personal development. And next week, we'll ask everybody to tell us what the magic word is after you've listened. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit between the difference of a culture of charity and a culture of philanthropy. Nonprofits with the culture of charity basically view donations as a transaction. They passively receive gifts, and they focus on short-term growth. And when I say they passively receive them, somebody's sending them a check in the mail, they send them a letter back in the mail, maybe an email. This is all passive communications. What I believe active communications is when you're in front of me, at least on Zoom, but better face to face, and we're communicating that way, the good old fashioned way. Nonprofits with the culture of philanthropy are focusing on relationships and really what's best for long-term societal needs, not necessarily how much money can I get from this donor right now as fast as I can. And I encourage you all to ask not what your donors can do for you, but what you can do for your donors. That's a question that we should all be asking as we continue to develop a culture of philanthropy. James has entered the waiting room, it said. So I have just welcomed James to our little group here. James, when you come on, you can, we'll get James to introduce himself in a moment. So your donors don't serve you, your organization serves them. They want to enact change, but they can't do it on their own. And it's through what you do, Stephanie and Heather and James, that makes where they get their meaning and satisfaction from. Everyone in your organization should understand they're all responsible for these values and developing a culture of philanthropy. I've asked all of you, of course, to print out those some of those culture of philanthropy and the donor bill of rights from AFP and the certified, what was the other one, the code of ethics. So and post them out in the hallway, post them on your office door. Encourage that discussion when people come into your office. Wow, what's this? Well, I subscribe to the AFP code of ethics and this donor bill of rights, and this is what it means. And do that with all the staff members and your program participants and your board members and your bosses and the staff under you. And good grief, what's wrong today? Why this didn't happen much yesterday, did it? All right. I'm gonna go back in here and bang on this thing just 1 second. So stop that. James, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself real quick, because you're new to our small little group here, our very first live forum. So while I am figuring out why my PowerPoint keeps freezing, go ahead and introduce yourself, please, James.
Hello, my name is James Talia Farrow. I'm from Portsmouth, Virginia, and the name of not my nonprofit is Todd Feld Inc. 501c3, and we provide the services of resume building and creation, document support and creation, mentoring businesses and individuals, tutoring, and transportation, as well as taking hazardous recyclables such as aerosol cans and batteries to the local recycling facility. And I've been in operation since 2012.
You've been doing this a while, James. You're the founder and CEO and chief bottle washer.
Yes, yes. Just me, just me. I'm doing everything. But it's okay because it's local and it's by word of mouth so far. I used to have a website, but I took that down some years ago because it was just me and I didn't want to overwhelm myself.
Well, trust me, we all understand how that works.
Mm.
And you're driving right now, so we want you to be safe while you're on the road, my brother. But if you could, how many board members do you have?
I have 3.
Okay, that's the minimum required by law. And as Heather and
Mhm.
Stephanie and others that are watching the replay, some of you may know, I encourage people to grow and have big boards. I believe in big boards, and I cannot lie. I'm not going to sing that. No, I'm not singing that song today. Stephanie heard me sing that. Stephanie heard me sing that song recently.
Some things
All right.
once you hear them, you just can't forget them.
Yeah. James knew where I was going in that. All right, so James, I'm going to continue our PowerPoint slides, and you can catch the replay. We're going to have a replay for this for everybody later. So we're going to come back from this current slide. Old computer, I guess. All right. We tell everybody and teach in the nonprofit campaigns that your organization is not competing with other organizations for money or for nonprofit, for board members or for anything. That is the culture of scarcity and lack, where we all think, gosh, I got, there's, and I hear this so many times from nonprofits. We have the same 50 people are doing everything in our community, or maybe it's 20 people or 100 people. And I want to have these people, they're on all the other boards. Trust me, you don't want them on your board if they're on every other board in town. You want people, we want board members that are going to make a commitment to say, with my philanthropic budget, we would like our organization to be one of your top 3 commitments that you commit to as a volunteer, as a board member, as a donor. And 6 out of every 10 households make a charitable gift every year. That means 4 out of 10 don't. And so don't worry about the 4 out of 10, focus on the other 6 out of 10. The number one reason why people give money to nonprofits is someone asked them. Not because they got a letter in the mail, not because they got an email, not because they saw it on social media. And that is what we encourage you to do here at Nonprofit Campaigns in the new community. So I'm going to ask you, once you understand how important it is to develop a culture of philanthropy and thinking those positive thoughts and not looking at fundraising as drudgery, make that pledge right now that is the mindset that you're going to have and you're going to lead in the nonprofit world with. We have, I wrote an article and some of you have read, called, we talked about a culture of, what do we call it? A culture of tired, because so many of us nonprofit leaders wear this martyr badge of honor where, I'm underpaid and I work too hard, and so you got it too. No, that's how we have come to this horrible place in life where the average length of stay on the job for a nonprofit development director is something like 16 months right now, and they say going down. And it's hard to find good it can take 16 months for a new development director to figure out exactly what they're doing and really be effective. Yeah, there we go. Now this is what we came to talk about. And how long have we been going here, folks? 41 minutes. This was the article that I sent out to everybody. If you're watching the replay, I'm seeing the article, and James, I'll make sure, and Heather, and we'll make sure we'll send you the article. This is about a nonprofit food distributor, Feeding Our Future, that was raided by the FBI several months ago. They are 100, I think they're 100%. I got to go look up their 990 forms on GuideStar. If any of you are sitting on your computer, pull up GuideStar while I'm talking and pull up the nonprofit, the 990 form for Feeding Our Future. They were raided by the FBI. They're in Minnesota, I believe. And now the Attorney General is coming after them. And they got involved in these, they got in a pissing match basically with the Attorney General, which I don't recommend as a nonprofit. This is after the FBI raid, after they froze all their assets and pretty much shut them down. Somebody that was a regulator in the state Department of Education happened to come to one of their events. They're giving away food, and the regulator took a bag of food. Okay, and the regulator, I guess, first said, hey, no, it's not appropriate. I shouldn't take the food. And the volunteer or whoever was, oh, no, take this. And so I guess she took it. She ended up giving it away to another person. But if you're a regulator for a nonprofit, don't do that, because you might get a creepy nonprofit like this that'll come back and sue you for it. And that's what this was all about. A single bag of food versus $103. And this is a nonprofit that is accused of embezzling like $100 million from the education funds, Department of Education that oversees doing a, sorry, people are walking around in front of me. The Department of Education oversees the funds that are being distributed. So you've read that while I'm talking. James, don't read that, you're driving. we'll get a chance. I'm going to send you this deck later and you can read everything. After the court filings, the judge dismissed it, saying it has nothing to do with the bigger case. It was just they're having a little, pissing match with the regulators. The bigger issue is, of course, the FBI raided them. And they went from in 2019 being a $3.5 million organization to being a $197.9 million organization last year. And apparently, if you read further on in this thing, they were buying real estate, homes, cars, and they say little of any was spent on the food for the kids. This is like nonprofit fraud in a big way. That we really, in the nonprofit industry, and I'm going to go back. So I'm going to finish this article thing. So if you're watching this, you're watching the replay, you can kind of look at this a little bit. We'll send this to you, so you'll have the whole article later. In any event, the motion was denied. They are, as far as the lawsuit, the FBI is still investigating. The state attorney general is still investigating, and no charges have been filed yet. But the judge came back and said, kind of admonished everybody here, including the regulator that took a bag of food and who ultimately gave it to a needy family where it was intended to go. Kind of a weird deal. I'm gonna stop the slideshow for a minute right now, and that's really what we came here to talk about a little bit. My first reaction when I read this is, where was the board of directors? And my guess is that the board of directors were selected I bet if when we do look up this 990 form, I bet they only have 3 or 4 board of directors. I bet they're all in on this whole thing. I bet they're receiving a salary. The vast majority of nonprofits in the United States, their board of directors are volunteering their time. They're not receiving a salary. And the other thing is, I understand from this article that the, pardon me here, I'm just going to pull myself up here. The other thing I understand is that they were contracting for-profit companies to administer the programs that they received government funding for, and the same people who were in charge of the for-profit, and the for-profits were also in part of the nonprofit. It was fraud on a massive scale, and legally the board of directors are legally, ethically, morally, fiscally responsible for everything your organization does. The executive director is not legally responsible. The founder is not legally responsible. The board of directors as a whole are legally responsible for these organizations. It's interesting to note that the other thing I say, that the board of directors, where were they and why weren't they doing their job? I got to say, what about the regulators? How does an organization go from $3 million a year to $197 million a year without some oversight? Is how can you physically grow that fast and do that? So the state of Michigan, I believe, government was at fault. The board of directors were at fault. It's going to be interesting to watch this transpire and go forward. But it highlights the need for us to focus on the code of ethical behavior that I will send all of you, and hopefully all of you know and somewhat memorize, right? Because the last thing we want is to be considered. And then the judge, basically said, the perception when a regular takes a bag of food and gives it to another, the perception is not there. If perception is reality, if we're perceived as doing something unethical, it's going to affect our donor base. I'm going to guess that this nonprofit didn't have a donor base of individual donors and corporate donors and foundations, because they would have been looking at what they're doing probably a little bit more with more scrutiny than the state of California. I want to get your thoughts on this. Stephanie, do you have anything you want to say and jump in on this particular case? And how can we as nonprofits prevent that perception of being unethical?
I think some of it is common sense. I
Mhm.
think some of it is, sometimes you get into a situation where maybe not everybody's got the same focus. You've got certain people controlling certain dynamics, so there isn't that transparency or autonomy across everyone. I do find it very interesting that it took so long before they realized that the bump was so big between, a certain small percentage of people and all these other people on, their stuff. So that would have been a red flag for me,
You would think, huh?
first and foremost. And, first of all, $103 of food in Hawaii, we know that's not a very big bag.
Yeah, right. I could spend $200 and they give me a bag.
Yeah, and it's half full. So, where this happened, maybe the food isn't as big, so there was more to it. I don't know. But it just seems like it's very punitive for something that, if there was a person in charge and it flowed the way it was supposed to flow, would never have happened to begin with.
Mhm.
That's my thoughts.
And you often wonder, is this an organization that started off with good intentions and just saw oh my gosh, nobody's paying attention to what we're doing with this, and we can go out and buy houses and real estate and cars with this money.
Well, and a lot of the time, what I found in this new position of mine, and it's very new, is that people will check the first couple years, and then nobody checks, and so you get complacent and you bend the rules, or if you have people who are not, this is ethically what I need to do, and by means of doing the things I'm supposed to do, I will reach those earmarks. So when people start swaying the drawbridge, pretty soon it's bound to crack. It just took them a while.
Yeah, it's fascinating to watch and think about this and discuss how we as nonprofits could not. We need to always be looking about that ethical relationship. One of the things they said in the article, this is in defense, the executive director got up. None of the board members would respond, I guess, to this article, the media. Can't say that I blame them. But the executive director did respond. And she's, of course, throwing rocks at the FBI and the attorney general and at the regulators and blaming them. They said, we did nothing wrong. That our how did she put it? We did nothing wrong. We just contracted to for-profit companies, and the for-profit companies could do whatever they want with the profit. Well, it just so happens that the for-profit companies, the people are related to the people that are at the nonprofit. So now you've got your chocolate and your peanut butter all and I see that from time to time in nonprofits where, we have a nonprofit arm and we have a for-profit arm. I'm considering doing that because we try to help. I don't want to turn anybody away for lack of ability to pay. If Heather, that, and Stephanie, that. We want to help people. If they can't pay, we'll find a way to get you in the program. So I'm going to be starting a nonprofit private foundation to raise funds and to help support, so we can continue that ability to not not turning anybody away for lack of ability to pay. But then that tells me I've got ethical things to look at, right? I've got a responsibility now. If I raise this money, it's got to go to where it's supposed to go. And there's a lot of nonprofits that do have a for-profit and a nonprofit arm, and kind of a, not, I don't know if it's a red flag, but it could be definitely an orange, warning flag or whatever it is that goes out.
Well, a lot of people were asking me about my street newspaper, why I was making it a nonprofit. But the majority of the street newspapers in the United States are nonprofits. There are a few that are for-profit. But the reason I wanted it to be a nonprofit is because I want to help people.
Right.
And in order for me to be able to do that, because I don't personally have my own income to do it, I created it as a nonprofit so that I would be able to get some of the essentials that I would need for my nonprofit.
Yeah,
like
you get funding from other sources.
donations and stuff.
My question for the street newspapers, and I'm asking a question, I'm not accusing anybody. My question for the street newspapers is, if they're operating as a for-profit, is it the homeless people that are making that profit? Or is it a group that created the nonprofit that's making the profit?
No, there's only like 2 or 3. I actually talked to the lady that had the, well, she made it the terminology is a little different for me. I didn't quite understand it, but it's a for-profit. She put most of her money into creating a newspaper, but by doing the advertising, she kept making profits because of the advertising for the newspaper and the money that stuff from selling the newspaper to the homeless, but also selling the newspaper to various organizations and businesses. That's how she created hers.
Well,
I don't want to do that.
And it's certainly okay for, I mean, I'm not saying that for-profit companies shouldn't make a profit. They can. And, people talk about corporate greed. There's also a lot of generous corporations out there that are doing the right thing and trying to help others. One of our associates here, Rick Miller, is an expert in, well, and I don't know if he's an expert, but he's very fascinated with and working on certified B Corp corporations, which is a corporation, but the B Corp is kind of a higher level of standard of ethics that they go through. And I'm not an expert of certified B Corp. I'm kind of fascinated by it. That's something that I may want to, right now, nonprofit campaigns as an LLC, where we're adding the foundation. But I like that certified B Corp because it lets people know that you subscribe to a level of ethics and doing the right thing in the community that perhaps, we hope that all corporations are doing. James, you just I got a message that you just got home. You're no longer driving. I'm glad to know that you got home safe. Do you want to chime in on our ethics discussion and give us your 2 cents, sir?
Yeah, my thing is, as a nonprofit, you intuitively, you don't want to be greedy. My understanding of a nonprofit is that all the profits either go back into the nonprofit itself for its inner workings and runnings, or out into the community. And some are, but nonprofits usually aren't established to make someone wealthy.
Yeah.
And like you said, I don't turn people away for lack of ability to donate, because I take donations. I don't take fees for transportation trips and resumes, and for taking recyclables to the local recycling facility and the like. I sometimes do these things for free. I make up for it because other people give donations, and they give generous donations when I do a resume or when I do a transportation trip. So I don't think it's to ingratiate yourself, but it's to give back to the community.
Yeah, very, very well put. And I'm not saying that nonprofit executive directors and development directors and all staff members shouldn't be paid a living wage.
Right.
There is, I hope, and I want to see all of the nonprofit founders in our community paid a living wage. Doesn't mean you're buying helicopters and homes on McKenna Beach. And I'm referring to a nonprofit that Stephanie may be aware of, that people talk about that shall be remain nameless, but that's but when that perception comes out, right? Perception is reality. Once you're perceived as that nonprofit that's doing things, you can't go back and unring that bell and develop that trust with the community again. We got to all be focused on having that level of trust with our donors, with our participants, and with the community at large before we do something stupid or intentionally that makes us look bad.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, we've been going for about an hour here, and I've got a couple more things in the slide. And maybe next week we're going to get together and we can talk about this more, because I plan to do this every Thursday, by the way, where we're going to get together and we're going to have a live forum. We're going to talk and engage everybody. I could see the sun hasn't set where you're at. Where are you at again?
Portsmouth, Virginia.
In Virginia, you're on the East Coast, so it's 6 hours ahead. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 o'clock right now.
Yeah.
In Virginia. We do have a lot of members, by the way, that are not here right now in Virginia. And so when you go in there, and I'm trying to get everybody that's in the community, we've only been doing this a week, so I'm asking everybody, please complete your profile and put a nice picture up there. Okay, Stephanie, I saw you put your logo up there, but you can put your head up there if you want, or your logo, whatever you like. And put what state you're from, put what city you're from, because that's what I also want to do is connect our members that are regionally, right? And so, other development director, and if you're a grant writer or something, that's the next thing I got to do in the group. I'm going to create professions. So we're going to, are you a development director or a development associate? And I know your title says development director, Stephanie, excuse me, development coordinator. Sometimes they look at that as the person who is the assistant to the development director. And then usually when they talk about that, I would call you, I'm going to call you the development director because I know you're the one sole person there doing all this stuff.
Yes,
Heather.
I work right under the CEO.
Yep.
And I do the fundraising, the grant writing, human resources, certification tracking. It's kind of a pit stop for everything.
Yep. And that's kind of where a lot of organizations do it. A lot of organizations, the executive director is doing on that. As the organization gets bigger, you'll have a development director and a development associate or coordinator under them. As you get real bigger, it'll become an advancement officer. And usually the advancement officer is overseeing marketing and communications and fundraising. And I encourage that as you get big, because if you have a marketing staff and a communication staff and a fundraising staff, and they're in two different houses, it makes sense to join those together, I think. And but I'm going to put those professions in there so people can click, I'm a this, I'm a that. And I want you to click development director when I do that, because that's really your title or what you do. And Heather, I'm going to have a place for founders for you and James. We're going to have a place for grant writers and CEO/executives. And I got a few consultants that join, so we'll have a consultant place in there too. You and consultants are welcome. We all fish off each other's pier a little bit. We all kind of watch and learn from each other, and that's that's okay. I've learned that when consultants join it's flattering to see other consultants join our groups and listen to what we have to say. Before we end this week, I want to go back to the slideshow real quick. And as I just had a couple of slides. This one is, I am offering anybody and everybody a 30-minute free consulting appointment to come in and talk with me about your, what are your goals? What are your challenges? And, at 30 minutes, I got to be a little bit of a fortune teller, right? But I try to, do that and give you my 2 cents and how we could help you at nonprofit campaigns with some of your things. So I'm going to send out that link afterwards. So all of you have that. Of course, the slide that I wanted to put up froze. So I'm going to stop that for a second and come back in here. We're going to be raising the new funds for Rob's computer in a moment here. Okay, so there's the slide from current slide. Oops, and I'll come back in here now and hit the Zoom and share our screen again so we can finish this very quick into the slideshow up. So I'll send out a link. I'd love to talk with all of you. I'm doing it on Mondays and Tuesdays and Fridays right now because Wednesdays and Thursdays are teaching days for me, and I'm kind of busy on those days. The other thing, and everybody's going to get this deck. So if you missed, James, I'm going to send it out to you, so you're not going to miss anything. Hey, how about that? There was no more slides after that. Any questions, comments from any of you? I want to thank all of you for being in our very first live forum on fundraising. Every week we're going to have a different topic and do different things. Can I please ask all of you to not only complete your profile, but invite somebody? Maybe it's your executive director. Maybe it's a friend of yours who is a nonprofit that needs help. But please, maybe it's your board chair. That's the other thing. I need to have a group for the board chair, so we all kind of can group together as individual, whatever we are. Okay, any last questions?
I already created my profile.
You did, and I haven't put the profession part in there. So at some point you can go back and add the, I just kind of launched this thing last Wednesday. And in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have launched it on a Wednesday because I'm so busy with master classes on Wednesday. I couldn't really devote the time I needed to this. And I still do some consulting, and I'm on the phones with people too. So there's only, I'm just like you Lone Rangers out there. There's only so many hours in the day. And so when I tell you, don't burn yourselves out and do do as I say, don't not as I do. A little bit. So any questions or last comments, Heather, before we roll? How about you, James? Questions about our nonprofit campaigns, community, classes? Stephanie? Oh, yes.
Yeah, where do you where do you input your profile information? Is it through the website?
It's on it's in the community and nonprofit camp. We have a website, nonprofitcampaigns.com. And if you go to our website, nonprofitcampaigns.com, there is those bars up at the top, and it says about us. And one of them says community, and it says training programs. Hit the one that says community, click on it. It'll take you right to.
Let me share. I can show you where it's at, and you'll see what I have, because mine's still up.
Oh yeah, share your screen, please. Share your profile. When you, James, though, you can enter it there, and somewhere in there it'll tell you. I'm still learning the doggone community, right?
Okay,
I'm not an
it's
expert.
not letting me share.
James asked me earlier, goes, how do we find this? Is it going to be in the community? Is it going to be on Zoom? I don't know. Go in the community and click on the link. We're all learning. Now, Heather is going to share her screen here in a second. We're going to look at her profile and see how she did. And oh, you know what? You can't share the screen. I gotta give you permission.
It's nonprofit campaigns, community.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna make you the host. You are now, Heather is now the host, but you have to let me reclaim host before we leave, okay? Because
just go ahead and take it away.
Did we lose you? I'll tell you what. You want to share yours, Stephanie?
Well, let me see if I can get in there first.
All right. Well, I got to figure out how to make Heather not the host now. Oh, didn't you love it? We're gonna have to view. I got to get into the chat here and the members. All right. So there's Heather. Who's the host? Okay, when I hit this button, it's replace pin. Let's see, more. No, remove pin. Oh gosh, I just love doing this fun stuff here. I'm gonna go back in here. There's something that should say remove pin. Well, I don't know how I reclaimed the host. Oh, there I did it. That's what you're talking about. Young people are better at this crap than we are. All right.
So I have mine open.
Yeah.
You're the host. Stephanie, you're the host. So
Let's see if I can get this to work.
we're going to look and see. You can share your profile. You'll hit screen share. And then if it's open on your screen, you should be able to pop it. And then now you're going to learn Zoom too today. Woohoo. Okay, there it is. This is now if you go to click this, now this is her home screen, right? She's looking at the home screen of the community, and there's her little post about why she's here and about her development coordinator at Arc of Maui. Awesome. Devoted grandmother by night. You know, so your kids made you the young, good looking grandparent too, huh?
I know, they're like sisters to me now. It's really weird.
I'm understanding grandmother. I just, since me and you talked, my daughter had her baby.
Oh, hey, congratulations. I'm stoked to hear that. Heather, go ahead and hit your logo, your profile picture there, your logo on the ARC part up in the top right. And when you click on that, it's going to have view your profile up by your name there. Very good. And we're talking you in for a landing here. I feel like the tower at an airplane. So there's her. That's how she can do her profile. And You can also put like a cover photo up there at the top. I think on mine, I've got myself swimming in Kaanapali on mine for my cover photo. She's got a badge that said she's a new member. She's in Wailuku, Hawaii. That's the office is located. She's got 1 follower, and that's me. Now, where it says personal links, you can scroll down there. You can click on personal links and you can put your social media, you can put your website, you can put all kinds of stuff there.
Hold on, Rob. James, did you see how we got here?
Are you talking to me?
No, James, he's muted, but I want to make sure that he sees how we got here so that he can go in and do his.
Yeah, James, did you see that?
Well, as soon as I saw the screen, it was already on her profile. I didn't
hold
see
on.
how.
I
Okay,
can go back real quick.
you can go back and do that again. This is fun for me to watch you guys do it. I'm learning how to do it too.
So once you're
Can
in
do it
there,
when
and
I'm on
you're
my
your
own
profile to
Zoom,
edit it, you're gonna go up here to your profile picture, click it, and right below your name, view your profile. And this is where you can edit it.
Okay, gotcha.
Now
Okay.
scroll down. See where it's got the number of followers. You can follow each other and you'll see each other's posts. It's got personal links, and she can put her personal link in there as, she put her social media. I think it's got, click on that. And what are the options? You can keep adding them.
Only got 2.
Yeah, in any event, you can put your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your website, whatever you want to put in there. We can all send each other messages down there. Groups down at the bottom is groups. Now I got to tell you, we have a new group that is the Nonprofit Campaigns Premium members. I haven't set it up yet. That is the masterclass for the rest of your life, and that is where we help pay the rent here at Nonprofit Campaigns. I'm going to set that up, and it's going to be $50 a month or $500 annually. And I encourage all of you to go to your finance people and your CEOs if you work for somebody and say, you know, we need to pay for this $500. That means it's only $40 a month because you get a 2-month free. And that is, we're going to be running master classes in there every week. We're going to do everything from direct mail to capital campaigns. And we're going to have, that is the premium membership. I encourage all of you to sign up and pay for that. We're going to have the first 2 weeks free, so you can join it, check it out, see what you think. Now on her, by the way, when I'm looking to the left here, the left bar on her thing up at the top is if you clicks on the round one, not the square one, it takes you back home. And as you roll down there, you can see members. The discovery, I guess, is what's new. There is the let's see what happens when you hit discovery. It pops up some of our latest. Yeah, there's all the posts I've ever made in this thing, and there's the topics. So the topics are start here, James, and that's where you can click start here, and you can go through and do all that good stuff. Annual campaigns, board development, planned giving. Underneath that cool thing, I think it's nonprofit ethics. I still got to find an ethics logo for all this stuff. Now we're going to have a lot more topics that we're going to put in there. I need to get, direct mail and social media campaigns and capital campaigns, all that stuff, all those topics need to go in there. Then down there, you look and see there's a list of our members. It talks about our upcoming events. There's June 16th. There we are today. Very cool. And if she clicks on the members tab, you can see all the members of the group. All the members can now put the discussion page in there. So there's me and my son. There's all of our members that are members of the group. Some of you guys are masterclass people. Some of you guys came from our Facebook page. Some of you just kind of found us, and so and Linda's in there, right? Where she's going to be in here teaching.
Hey, my picture.
There's Heather.
And there's Heather. Very good. I see you and your husband.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of, thank you very much, Stephanie, for doing kind of a tour of our and so let's see, it's also got a checklist of all the cool things that Stephanie did here, and that's when she hit the the button there that says start here. All right, so thank you very much. Appreciate that. I want to thank all of you for coming back in. I'm going to reclaim host. Took me a minute, but I know how to do it now. I want to thank all of you for joining, all 4 of you for joining our very first live open forum. Invite people, tell your friends. We're going to do this again next week at the same bat time and the same bat channel in the new nonprofit campaigns community. I'm excited. We've got nowhere to go but up. And so thank you. Post in the group, complete your profile, ask questions, communicate with other people. This is a cool, fun place. And already we've got better engagement than we do in our Facebook group with 800 people in it. So I think this
I
is,
bookmarked the page to the website.
thank you. Yes, everybody do that. Bookmark that page. right
Okay,
there.
I need to get here every once in a while. That's what this is. Bookmark it.
Yep. And then I'll tell you, when you go in at the when you click on your logo or your photo there, you can also it's got notification settings. If you on me, I want to get an email from whenever you guys make a comment or something in there. You can turn off those emails if you don't want to get them, but gosh, we would hate to not get emails from us. So what's happening in the community? So you can
I put it all in one email.
Oh, that's that's an option, a digest.
That's an option.
You can get a
Instead of
daily
keep
digest
getting
or you
emails
can,
all day long.
yeah. So
Put
if you
it
don't,
in one big one.
yeah, if you don't want to get a bunch of emails all day long, that's a very good idea. Put in the digest. Since I'm the host, I kind of need to I want to see all the emails, but the digest is a great way to see what we're doing, but I'm guaranteed to only bug you one time a day in your email inbox.
Well, I'm in the process of trying to get everything going, and I can't be checking email all day long.
Well, and I tell you, I know this, and we're here to help you guys streamline things, not make things tougher for you. I want to thank all of you for being here. If you're on Maui and listening to this, go to Tante's tonight and have dinner and say hi to Stephanie and bid on something in the auction.
It's tomorrow night.
And I'm going to share that in our Facebook group here too. So if I'm going to look for your community thing to share
Rob,
with Maui people.
It's tomorrow night.
Oh, not tonight. Tomorrow night.
Friday 17th from 5
Friday
to
night
9
is the night
p.m.
you would go out. Yeah, that gives us 24 hours to help you promote it and get a lot of people there. Cool.
Hope you get the hair done and the nails done, look good.
I'm glad I didn't drive down tonight.
Get those new slippers ready.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for being here. Oh, wait. Hang on here. I don't want to, I just hit lock meeting. We don't want to do that. Let's take a picture of our first group. Everybody, James, come on, guys. I'm going to close this thing. And I'm going to put it on gallery view. There they all are. All right, we're all here. Control, Alt, print screen, big smiles. Shaka if you want. All right, it's done. We have created our very first image here. All right, God bless you all. Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you for engaging in the community and have a wonderful day.
Have a good evening. Bye.
You too, and God bless.
Bye-bye.